Hey everyone, I haven't done an updated Switch collection video in quite a while, mainly because, I didn't know if I was going to continue making collection videos, but what really inspired me to make this video today was really not just the changes that I've had since the last collection video I made, but it was really to celebrate the big milestone for the channel, which was the 1,000 subscribers. The first video I posted was my Switch collection, and that just happened to be a video that took off as the first video, so I was very fortunate and lucky for that to be a video that did really well, that I was passionate about doing. And I think now's a great opportunity not just to show you the updated list of the games I got, because the amount of games I got has improved and just it's gotten so big that I really need to talk about a lot of the games that I got this year. But I also have to talk about some of the things that have changed, right? Like I do have a new Switch now, and I don't have my old Switch, and I wanted to go into that and why that was. And I kind of wanted to just go over some updated thoughts on some of the games that were on the list, and seeing and showing you guys just directly which games I've actually taken the time to play and actually get through. I will leave timestamps below for you as well, so if you guys wanted to just skip around a little bit, you totally can. I also just hope that you just watch the video all the way through, but I understand and I do respect your time that not everyone's able to do that, or some people just are not interested in one topic, they're interested in another, so I want to be respectful of your time. So there will be timestamps below. We have a lot to go over, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. So let's go ahead and just first dive into the Switch that I have. I have the Legend of Zelda, oh my god, the battery went up, the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom OLED Nintendo Switch. Now, you guys know last year I had the Animal Crossing Switch, the one for Animal Crossing New Horizons, and while that was a great limited edition Switch, for me personally, I just love this Switch so much more. I just enjoy just the look of this console a lot more, just in all honesty. I love the gold accents with the white backing. I love the front of the display looking even larger. The display itself was worth it, but there's so much I actually really love about the OLED console. Like, if you have an original Switch and you don't have the money to get the OLED, no need to, unless you find a really good deal, but if you can get the money to make that Switch, go for it. Another reason why I kind of wanted to get this Switch as well is for the dock as well, right? If we look at the dock here, I have like this protective little cat case because I don't want it to get scratched, but the dock is just stunning to look at. And I just love this dock so much. I have to have this like little cat protector sleeve because my cat will try to drop this dock, unfortunately, and I do want to protect the front of it. But I wish I didn't have to, because it's a beautiful looking dock, and I just feel like, it's while it is a shame that I have to cover it up like that, I'm still glad that I have it and that I get to actually enjoy it every now and then. I'm really happy with the switch to the OLED Switch. I think it's a fantastic console. It actually really makes me enjoy playing games a lot more too, and it's really hard for me to go back to old Switches after playing it for so long. So yeah, I love my OLED Switch. The next thing I want to talk about is this special edition Zelda controller. As you can tell, I really like Zelda, right? So I had to get the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons, and they're still in the box, right? I have taken them out and used them a little bit, but I have them in the box again just so I'm kind of worried about them getting Joy-Con drift and stuff, so that's the only thing that prevents me from using the Switch controllers. And it's kind of a shame because I actually really like the look of this. The black, sorry, not the black, the blue and the purple accents with the black console itself, and I just think it just looks so nice, and I love these. I might end up just using them anyways, to be perfectly honest with you, at some point, but I just, man, I don't want to mess them up, because Joy-Con drift sucks, and just finding a collector's edition for these Zelda consoles and the Zelda accessories are so expensive and so hard to get. But I love these Joy-Cons, actually. They're my favorite ones. So next, let's go ahead and go into the physical games that I have here. I have a lot of physical games to go through, so we gotta just jump right in. And what I will preface is that in my last collection video, I do spend some time talking about each game, and I will do that here. However, I tried to make it more digestible, so I've separated the games from like Nintendo, first-party Nintendo games, to third-party games, to like franchises going forward. So that way it just makes the video a little bit more digestible. And also, also I can give some proper recommendations. I don't want to go too into each game because I'm not trying to review every game on the list. Then I would be here for like 2 to 3 hours, and I just respect your time a little bit too much for that. But I'll tell you which games I recommend, and I will give a little brief discussion about each game without getting too far into it where it becomes a review. So first game on the list is Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now this is a game that I haven't yet gotten to play. I'm actually replaying Pokemon Emerald right now just because that's a childhood game that I love playing every now and then, and I do want to get back into this right after. So this will be the next Pokemon game I play. It's not going to be the next game I play. This is something I do plan to complete this year, but it's not the next game on my list. I'm actually going through the original Super Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo, and I'll probably make a video about that when I finish it. But you know, once I finish that game, I want to play a couple short games, and from what I've heard, this game seems to be very long, but I just want to experience it. I really love the changes that they've made and how they utilize everything from all Pokemon games into this like one game and try to do something really unique and different, and I really respect it for that. I haven't played it quite yet, and I'm hoping it's good, and I'm hoping it's everything that I ever wanted, but I won't know until I try. But this is like the first Pokemon game I've had high hopes for since like Gen 4, Gen 5, right? Like last Pokemon game I had high hopes was for Gen 4, but the last Pokemon game I loved was Gen 5. So, you know, I hope Pokemon Legends Arceus is a much improvement, much bigger improvement from the rest of the series since like Sun and Moon, because I haven't really enjoyed the series since those games, and I hope this is like a step in the right direction. Next up is Pokemon Shield. Now you kind of got an idea of what I think about this game based on how I talked about Pokemon Legends Arceus. And I still don't really like it. I tried to replay it the other day and it's just not my jam, guys. Like, I really wish I could like this game. I haven't gotten Violet or Scarlet yet, so you're not going to see those games on this list. But I don't think I would buy those games unless they were like heavily discounted, just because I was so disappointed in this game. Sun and Moon was kind of a disappointment for me too. And I feel like the first disappointing Pokemon game I played was X and Y. And like none of those games are bad. I don't want to sit here and say that they're bad. I just think they're just not up to the quality I expect from a Pokemon game, and I just didn't love Pokemon Shield. Even though it had my favorite Pokemon, which was Tyranitar, I just did not like this game, unfortunately. So, you know, it is what it is, but hey, you know, we move on. I guess I would recommend this as someone's first Pokemon game if you've never played a Pokemon game before, but I don't think this is a good indicator of how good the series could be, really. I would say a better game to start off would probably be Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, if this is like your first step into the franchise or you're just a kid. It wouldn't be this one. Metroid Prime Remastered. It's a game that I actually missed on the GameCube, so I'm excited to play this eventually. This might be a game that I play this year along with Pokemon Legends Arceus, just because I heard the length of this game is not too bad. And I really like the idea of this, that you're traveling a world, like any Metroid game, you're traveling a world solo. And I like the idea for this game in particular because it's like one of the first like 3D Metroidvania games, and I just like that idea, that they would try to do that in a 3D format. I hear a lot of good reviews about it. I like the setting of Metroid, so I'll be excited to play this when I get a chance. I have no expectations though. I just expect a good game, just from the way that people talk about it. Now, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What can I say about this game, guys? Like, it's like, obviously it's like the best Smash game. I know some people are gonna like cry for Melee or like, you know, Smash Brothers for Wii U. I don't think anyone's really crying for that, but this one really is like the ultimate Smash game, right? Like, I love Smash. I would say I'm a really good casual player. I'm not a good, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm good, because then there's always gonna be like that one guy that's like, oh, let's fight then, bro, and I'm like, no, because you probably play Smash all day and I haven't played Smash in a very, very, very long time. That being said, when I do play Smash, I played a lot as a kid. Through Melee, through Brawl. You know, Brawl I was super excited for as a kid. And this literally has every character I've ever wanted in a Smash game, right? Like, it has Sora, it has Cloud, it has Sonic, it has like so many third-party characters, and you know, Toon Link being my favorite Link. There's just so much to love about this game. There's so much love put into it, and you know, some people will complain about little things here and there, but to me, this is just the best Smash game. Like, bar none. I love every character that they added onto this. I think there's so much fun to be had in this game, and I think it's a game that'll never get old. It's a game that you can always play with friends. You're always gonna have that one friend that's a competitive player. I know I have one, but it's Smash Brothers. Like, what can I say? It's the best Smash Brothers, and I think it's really cool. Nothing is gonna come over the hype I got from like seeing Sora come out in a Smash trailer. That was amazing. Super Mario 3D All Stars. Honestly, my favorite Mario game is still Super Mario Galaxy, and my second favorite, very closely tied to it, is Super Mario Sunshine. I haven't played Odyssey yet. I don't have Odyssey on this list as a heads up, but it is a game that I plan to get eventually. It's just like still at a high price, and I'm hoping I can find one for a decent price. But I had to get this one simply because it was a limited run, and it's really hard to find this now. Unfortunately, it was released during an anniversary for Mario. And I wanted to get it because it had some of my favorite games on the GameCube and Wii, and I like Mario 64, even though it's not my favorite, but it's cool to have it in this format. I will say that they could have done more with it. They could have definitely, like, maybe brought some stuff from the DS remake of Mario 64 and put it on here, and I don't know, like, I guess I understand they were just trying to pay tribute to Legacy here and try to keep it as close to the original experience as possible, but it's not a bad remaster, but kind of better ways to play it if you want to like hack around in Dolphin and stuff. But if you just want to like a legit experience, you just want to pick up and play version of it, this is really good. This one's funny, Ring Fit Adventure. I have a lot of memories with this during COVID, simply because during COVID there was no gyms available, so like it was kind of hard to work out, and it was one of those things where I had to work out somehow, so I bought Ring Fit Adventure when I brought my Wii, and I don't regret it, dude. This shit is a fucking workout, like, and I'm someone that like works out pretty consistently, and this shit had me sweating and like had me like out of breath. It was really, really good. In fact, I think I kind of want to play this again just to get back into it, because the cardio aspect of this was like really good, like even better than a treadmill in some cases, and I really felt my legs, like the squats on this game, and just a lot of things. I didn't really feel much with like the ring doing this with it, but like the squatting was like insanely hard. Like the leg exercises in this game will have you sore for like days. So I mean, it makes it really fun. They try to do some RPG elements into it as well, so like you're fighting bosses and stuff, so you have to be strategic as well. But like it's a really fun game, honestly. Like if you like working out, like I would just say get this. If you do this every day, there are people that have YouTube channels just based on this game where they use it every day and they just show their fitness journey with it, and I think that's really cool. Next up is Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2. So I have never played the Pikmin games growing up, but I'm excited to actually play these. This is one of those games I missed on the GameCube, and I've noticed that they're actually doing that a lot this generation with the Switch. Everything except Wind Waker and Twilight Princess for some fucking reason, but whatever, that's another discussion to be had. But Pikmin 1 and 2, I plan to play these two, and then eventually move on to 3. I haven't opened this yet, but it is something I plan on playing at some point in the future. I heard these are very short, very fun games, and I just want to explore it. I hear so many good things about Pikmin and how underrated it is, so I think if I give it a shot, I'll enjoy it, but I don't know what else to say about it other than I think it's cute. I think the concept is really adorable, and I want to give it a shot one day. I want to give it a genuine shot one day and see if I like it. Bayonetta 3. I do have to finish Bayonetta 2. I played Bayonetta 1, and I've gotten pretty far into Bayonetta 2, and before I play 3, I have to beat 2. That being said, I'm very excited to play this. I know this has mixed reviews and everything. I'm not someone that expects the third installment of any game franchise to really be good, to be honest with you. Mainly because that's usually where they take the most risks or fumble the ball or something. Sometimes it's the best one. In my opinion, Arkham Knight is the best Batman Arkham game. However, there will be people that argue that Arkham City is, or something like that. And that happens a lot with the third game in franchises, mainly because I think people expect things to end in a certain way, and if they don't get what they want, then they complain about it. And the third games just tend to be the most divisive. So sometimes, rightfully so, the third game honestly is never that good or something, but also, a lot of times I think the third games do enough risks that I enjoy. So, I'm excited to play this and form my own opinion. I love the Bayonetta series. She's such a fun character to see and play as, and I know that they have this new character as well that you get to play as well, so that'll be exciting. I don't know if they have plans to make a Bayonetta 4, but I remember waiting for this game for a long time, so I can't imagine Bayonetta 4 is coming anytime soon. But I'm excited to have this game. Very grateful to have it in my collection and to eventually play it. Now, Link's Awakening on the Switch is a really cute game. finished it, loved it. Really gave me good flashbacks to the original Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, which I have played before a couple times, and one thing that always held me back from like, you know, replaying those games is, even though I love the story and I thought the puzzles were very, very well done, just switching items consistently is kind of a pain in the ass. And that was always a hardware failure more than a game failure. Like, I'm sure if they had the extra buttons they would just use those, but they didn't. But this is one of those situations where now that we have the Switch, we can actually utilize those extra buttons, and it works out really great. And the graphics on this is great. I will say that the performance drops on it were kind of weird at times, especially because I don't think this is a crazy graphics intensive game, but I still think it was really good, and I still love this game. Actually, I don't know if it's worth $60, but if you can get it for like $40, go for it. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I have some mixed feelings about this game, mainly because I don't know if it's canon or not to the Zelda storyline, and if it is, then it's cool, and if it's not, then it's weird, because it's like it almost kind of needs to be, because in a way they use stuff from this game in Tears of the Kingdom, or reference stuff to this game in Tears of the Kingdom, and I think that's like interesting. I think the idea of this game is interesting, and that they're going and explaining that time skip in Breath of the Wild with this game, but overall though, if it's still a Warriors game, I will say, and even though it was fun and the bosses were actually kind of fun in this, it's still a game where you just fight hordes of enemies, which is, you know, fine. It's not bad, but it's not everyone's cup of tea, and it could feel repetitive after some time. But I still had a good time with it, honestly. I think this was the best Warriors game for like the Zelda franchise personally, and I think they did a really good job making it compelling. So next up is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I made a whole video about this game, and I made a whole review, so if you want to know my in-depth thoughts about this game, go ahead and just watch that. Honestly, it's like a 40-minute discussion I have about just Tears of the Kingdom. Built so much on the previous game. I loved exploring. There were elements of it that I didn't love, but every game has flaws. Even my favorite game, Chrono Trigger, has flaws. It's hard to find, but they're there. They're there. And I, you know, this is one of those games that, yes, does have its flaws, but it does the good stuff so well that it doesn't. I don't even think about the flaws when I think about this game. I just think about the amazing adventure, the amazing story, the amazing world that I was able to explore, the time I got to, you know, do puzzles, and the challenge I had from this game. Like, there's just so much good stuff about this game. I can't talk enough about it. I loved this game. I thought it was so fun. Watch my video. I can't keep going into it, otherwise I'm gonna be here for another 40 minutes. But please play this game if you haven't. You know, play Breath of the Wild first maybe, but play this one like a little time after. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I still have not finished this game, but I did start it and I did get pretty far, and I didn't beat the original Skyward Sword, and I was really hoping that this would fix the issue that I had with it, which was the controls. I didn't love the controls in Skyward Sword. It was the one thing that kept me from playing, and I know that's such a mixed opinion. Some people hate the controls in Skyward Sword, some people think it makes the gameplay even better and that it's amazing, and I'm somewhat in the middle. Like, if the sword combat, yes, that was really good. I'm not gonna deny that. But the other stuff, using the motion controls for almost everything, was just too much for me. So for me personally, you know, I'm gonna finish Skyward Sword this year. I will finish it. It's because I'm so close to finishing it. I'm gonna play it right after Mario RPG, but just pick up where I left off, just finish it and put it away, just so I can say that I've done it. But it's the only mainline Zelda game that I have not beaten, and I need to do that. Before I make a Zelda ranking video or something, I need to actually beat this game before I have a solid opinion on it, and I need to just force myself to do it. I think it's a great game. I just, you know, the thing that holds me back is the controls, but the story is amazing. It's one of the best in the franchise. I just think I wish the gameplay was like a little bit better. So let's go into some Mega Man. Mega Man 11 for the Nintendo Switch. This was a nice return to form for the Blue Bomber. You know, like, I loved playing through this game, and it's really fucking hard, just like the old Mega Man games, and it was nice to be challenged in a video game again, especially for a mainline franchise. I find that a lot of these like long-staying franchises like Mega Man, Pokemon, and stuff like that tend to get easier as the games progress, and for a while Mega Man was going down that trend, but lately, like, Mega Man has just been on it, just by making better harder games, and I really love this game. I thought it was worth every penny. Really fun. If you like platformers and you like just Mega Man, this is a good one to play. Now we're back to games that I haven't played before. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. I loved the anime as a kid. There's like a specific moment in the game, in the anime, that that's always gonna, I don't want to spoil it, but like it's a very sad moment regarding this guy. And I liked the anime, and I always wanted to play the games, and I just didn't have the games growing up, and now I have a whole collection of them on the Switch, and I think that's really cool. So, you know, I don't know if this is a game I'm going to get to this year, to be honest with you, but it's a game that I'm glad I have in my collection because I want to play it. I've always wanted to play these games, and the actual Game Boy Advance versions are so expensive, and just having this as a physical collection that like I can play it on the go is really good and really cool. I'm glad that I got this. I'm excited to play it. Hades. I love the soundtrack for this game, and I wish I've played it. I have not played Hades that deeply. I played it on my friend's Switch, a little bit of it, so I know what the gameplay is like, but I have not played and beaten the game myself personally. But I've heard a lot of great things about it, and I want to give it a shot. I do like games like Transistor and Bastion. Those are two games by Supergiant Games that I have played. I've not played Pyre. I think that's the one before where they're playing like soccer or something. I didn't play that one because it didn't seem interesting to me. This one does seem interesting to me, but I just haven't had the time to go through it. So honestly, I don't know if this is a game I'll get to this year, but it's a game I want to get to at some point, so let's see. I hope I do get into it, so well, only time will tell. Omori is like a really special game. I have to complete it, and after, so my goal right now is Mario RPG, finish Skyward Sword, then play through Omori, and then go into Final Fantasy 12. And then other games will come on the list. I think Pokemon Legends Arceus is the last game I want to play this year, but Omori is a game that I do plan to finish this year. It has such a cute concept to it. It kind of gives me like adult, like Undertale vibes, but for like adults, and I really like that. But the thing that made this so special, and the reason why I decided to buy this physically, is honestly like this. I know that's so weird to say. One is it came with this like little cute photo that is relevant to the story of the game, but you don't get stuff like this anymore. And I think, you know, this was the last game I recently bought, and I bought it for this reason, and this is what inspired me to make this video, because a lot of Switch games don't come with manuals and stuff like this anymore, but this one does. It comes with a full game manual that goes over like the basic outline of the story. It goes over the characters and their stats and everything, just like old video games from back in the day. And I thought that was like really sweet, and I love that. It shows that the developer really cared about not just the game, but how it was presented and how she wanted her players to experience it, and she knew her target demographic. And I do love the concept of this game. I've only played about an hour of it, and I want to finish it, so it is on my list to finish. Oh my god, maybe I won't finish it this year, but like I don't know, we'll see. I really want to play this after I beat Skyward Sword, then play Final Fantasy 12, and then see if I can get to Pokemon Legends Arceus this year. I gotta see, because I'm trying to do so much this year, so we'll see, one step at a time. But Omori is a game that is on my list to finish this year, and it's a priority for me, like a top 3. So there you go. Now, Sonic Colors Ultimate. I have this like Ultimate Collector's Edition, but honestly, I got it delivered from Amazon and they fucked up the box, so whatever. The box for the special edition kind of sucks, but I played the original Sonic Colors on the Nintendo Wii, and it was one of the best Sonic games that you could possibly play. Overall, if you've never played Sonic Colors before, get this. It's a great collection, and honestly, it's the best version of it, like that you can get legitimately without going into Dolphin and stuff. But it's like the, you know, if you haven't played this game, it's worth getting, it's worth playing. I'm not saying not to get it. I actually do think that this is still a fantastic game. I just wish that it was a little bit more polished. I don't know why this remaster has some bugs that it has, and not everyone has bugs going through this game, but I did, honestly, and that was a little disappointing. But you know, it's disappointing, but I would still give this game like a solid fucking 8 out of 10. The story sucks. That's why it's not a 10 out of 10. So the story sucks in this game, but the actual game itself, gameplay wise, was really fun. Even if it is 2D a lot of the time, I still think that the levels are very inventive and really fun. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about Sonic Origins. Sonic Origins honestly is a video in itself. Like, I love Sonic so much, as you can fucking obviously tell. I love Sonic so much, and classic Sonic especially, and I honestly thought that Sonic Origins Plus was a really good collection. I've been waiting for this version of Sonic for a very long time, and the reason why is I know these are Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and Knuckles again, and Sonic CD as well. I've played through all of those games so many times, and the reason why I was excited for this collection is because if you guys don't know, it was made by the same developers that also made this wonderful game, Sonic Mania. Basically, it was a remaster of those games to give you like the best possible version of Sonic, the original Sonic trilogy. Or quadrilogy, or there's 5 games technically, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles are 1 game. I don't know. Quadrilogy, I don't know what you would call this, but it's a great way to get that, and I think Sonic Origins Plus, just adding Amy Rose as a playable character, is just really fun. It was long overdue, and just, I don't know, it's just like, I feel like it's the best version of Sonic that you can play legally. Like, and I say legally because I mean, all of these games have better versions that you can play illegally, obviously, but for someone like me that just wants to support when Sega gets developers like that care about the franchise and stuff and make games that I enjoy, I want to support that. And I even with Sonic Origins Plus and some of its faults, you know, I don't think that, you know, the small couple bugs that they have there is like that bad to like really, you know, be that bad. I think Sonic Origins Plus, like, while it does have its faults, is still the best way to play these games, especially in a legal way. So I mean, I love these games so much, and I can play them over and over and over again. This version does have 16 classic Sonic games as well as the quadrilogy of games. They're not remastered like the quadrilogy is, but it's still a great way to play it. I still had a great time going through all the games, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really happy to have this. I'm happy to have a physical version of Sonic 1 to 3. So yeah, I don't know. I still recommend getting this if you are a fan of classic Sonic games. It's the best version to play. Widescreen, you know, a lot of extras. You can play just so many different playable characters, and it's just really good. Speaking of which, I know I talked about Sonic Mania briefly, but with good reason. Sonic Mania is my favorite Sonic game. For a variety of reasons. One, the gameplay is just fantastic, even though the only thing I don't like is the final boss. Like, gameplay wise, it's not the most fun, but it's not horrible. But the gameplay just overall is absolutely amazing. I love playing this game. I could go over it over and over and over and over and over again. It's like a top 10 game for me, for sure, and it's my favorite Sonic game. And it's actually like the still I have here is actually from the intro in this game. I love it that much, and you know, it's just a return to form for Sonic for me. Sonic was always a big part of my childhood growing up. It meant a lot to me because I had an aunt that, you know, she recently passed away, but I was very close with her because she got me into video games by playing Sonic, and you know, not all Sonic games are good. Some of them are really fucking bad, but I have good memories with her, and this actually invoked those memories, and it came at a very, very good time in my life where, you know, my aunt was going through some stuff, and this game happened to come out at the same time, and it was like one of the last times we connected, and this game means a lot to me for a lot of reasons, and I'm glad to have it. Other than the emotional stuff, I will say that this is just an amazing game that anyone that's a fan of 2D platformers should play. Sonic Superstars. It's a game that I will play with one of my friends, but I will not play by myself, or maybe I will play by myself. I don't know. I'm excited to play it. I was playing at the Sonic Speed Cafe. If you guys don't know what that is, it's an official Sonic restaurant that's in near Los Angeles that I went to recently, and it was cute. Like, it was cool, but and I initially wasn't too excited about this game because of like the weird reviews and weird reception, but I eventually just gave it a shot simply because I liked what I played there, and I was like, you know what, this was on sale at Target for half off, so I was like, that's a steal. I'll just get it now because I'm not paying $60 for this game, but $30 I could do, and I think it'll be fun. it's one of those games that maybe I'll play this year. I can't imagine it would be long. I think maybe I could beat it in 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4 if I push it, but that's like a day. I could beat this game in a day, I'm assuming. And if I play with someone, maybe it's fun, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'll give it a shot. I'll play it when I'm ready. The latter half of this part of the video will be like RPG heavy, just as a heads up. But before we get into like the RPGs themselves, let's go into some rhythm games that are based off RPGs. First off being Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Kingdom Hearts is a game franchise that is near and dear to my heart. I thought it was the coolest thing as a kid. I cried so many times throughout the series, and I know it's a game where like fucking Mickey Mouse is like talking about like darkness, and like there's like a lot of like weird writing in this game that like I feel like gets worse after some point, and then better in some other ways too. But the Melody of Memory is a game that I've been personally waiting for. I'm a big fan of rhythm games based on RPGs, so you know the Theatrhythm franchise is a good example. I love the Final Fantasy Theatrhythm games, and I've always wanted something like that for Kingdom Hearts, and it just happened to come in the form of this game. I noticed how in the back they use the same art style. If you actually look at it, they use the same art style for the promotional art for this game as the Theatrhythm games. And if I'm to be honest with you, part of me wishes that they continued to use that, because I thought that would have been really, really cute. And they've already kind of like hinted at using it, and I was kind of bummed out that they kind of just used the models from, you know, the other Kingdom Hearts games. But I'm still happy this exists. Playing this is a blast. It's so much fun. I love this. If they actually made this for every RPG franchise, I would buy almost all the good ones, I guess. But still, I love this game. It's just a rhythm game for Kingdom Hearts though, and there's like an ending that's canon to the series, but you know, that's how Kingdom Hearts always is. If you don't care about the story, you just like the music in Kingdom Hearts, then get it. I think it's gonna be a fun play. Now, I talked about Theatrhythm Final Fantasy, and the best Theatrhythm game I've played by far is Final Bar Line. I cannot talk enough great things about this game. I cannot say enough great things about this rhythm game. It really took everything that was great about Final Fantasy Theatrhythm and Curtain Call and brought it to the Nintendo Switch, while also adding a bunch of games and a bunch of DLC for other games. I play this game like anytime I'm not in, you know, playing, you know, Mario RPG or Pokemon Emerald or something, or anytime I can, I'll actually play through this game. It's a game that you could like easily pick up play, just kind of like Smash. But the difference between that and Smash is that Smash is like super competitive, and you can like get lost in it for hours, where this one I could easily pick it up, play a couple songs, put it down. I love a lot of the composers for the franchise, and this is just another game that I love. So yeah, I like Final Bar Line. I think it's really good. It's probably my favorite rhythm game of all time. So yeah, if you love Final Fantasy music, just get it. You will not be disappointed. Speaking of Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 collection. Someone really special got this for me, and I was incredibly happy to get it. It's one of my most prized possessions, actually. So you know, I love the Final Fantasy series. If you have not played Final Fantasies like 4, 5, and 6 in particular, you are missing out. Go ahead and get this. Maybe if you, I know getting this physical copy is insanely hard. I made a whole video about this actual collection as well, and my thoughts in it, and I was so upset that they did not have more physical copies. And while I was so glad to eventually finally get one, I feel very upset for the people that were not able to get a physical copy of this collection. But I would recommend at least playing 4, 5, and 6 digitally if you can. I think it would be a great investment. I think you guys, if you haven't played any of the Final Fantasy games, that's a great place to start. 1, 2, 3 are classics, and if you love 4, 5, and 6, go back and play those if you wanted to see where the series started. But really, 4, 5, and 6 are works of art in my opinion, and they're some of the best stories told in all of fiction. They're worth playing at all costs. Like, if you love classic RPGs, play this game. So I mentioned this earlier, but Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age is the next Final Fantasy game that I'm going to be playing. The next big RPG I will be playing. And the reason why is because this is the last Final Fantasy, single-player Final Fantasy game that I have not completed. I've recently made like a whole tier list video for Final Fantasy, and I talk about the ones I played and haven't played. And I played almost every single-player Final Fantasy except for this one. And the reason for that is just because time. really, and you know, I only have so much time in this world, but I do want to make playing this a priority, because once I play this and finish it, I can finally say I played all the single player Final Fantasies, and give it a shot. I'm sure that this is going to be like an underrated gem. I've heard a lot of great things, and for a lot of people this is their favorite Final Fantasy, so I can't wait to see what it's all about. Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. I remember having very, very fond memories of the PSP version of this game, and while the Nintendo Switch version is like really, really good, really fun to pick up and play actually, and the gameplay I actually think is fun, especially for a Switch game as opposed to like a PS5 game. I think this was definitely meant to be a mobile game. The story I have mixed opinions about, right? There's elements of it that I love. Zack is one of my favorite characters in all of Final Fantasy. What they did to his voice in this remaster is abysmal. And I don't want to be insulting to the voice actor. I'm sure he tried his best, and he was given just some sort of weird direction. So I think this is more like a voice direction thing than a, you know, voice actor thing, but the previous voice actor for Zack just did such a phenomenal job, and I was totally open to different voices, right? Like, I like the new voice of Sephiroth. I don't think it's perfect, but he's doing a great job. I love the new voice for Cloud and Tifa and Aerith and Barret. I think those are all like spot on, and I actually think those are better than the original cast for me personally. I know a lot of people love the original voice for Cloud. I like him, he's okay, but I really like this new voice actor a lot more. I just feel like he's does such a good job expressing more of a wide range of emotions than the previous one did. So like that's fine. It's just when your main character has an annoying voice and it just changes the way that you view him, it's hard for me to like him. And it's hard for me to play through this because I know what it's supposed to sound like. And I know the way that things are supposed to be delivered, and they're just not delivered in that way. So unfortunately, I can't say that I love this remaster. In fact, I'm quite disappointed by it, but it is what it is. If you've never played it though, it's a good way to play it. I've been waiting for this kind of, you know, remaster for quite some time, so it's one of those things where, you know, it is what it is. Next up, World's End With You Final Remix. I will say, if you've never played these games before, this is a great way to start. I will say, if you have access to the DS version, play that one over this, mainly because I do think that after playing this version of the game, it was just meant to be in a handheld format. There are times where, like, you know, you could pick it up and play for a little bit and put it down, and in this version, while it's on the Switch, it just feels harder to do that. The controls are kind of weird as well. Like, you can use the touchscreen for a lot of on the Switch itself, which is weird because not all the games utilize that. And playing it on the TV just hurts your wrist after some time. So yeah, it's actually kind of hard for me to play this game, to be honest with you. It's kind of weird the way that it controls, and but the story is so good. Like, the music is like phenomenal in this game actually. It's about this boy that essentially wakes up in a world where he's in a game where basically he has to try to survive along with these other people that are also trying to survive as well, and there's some mysterious people as well, and it's just, you know, it's a really cool game. I actually really think that the art style is really unique, and it's just a really fun, cool game. So it's a fan favorite for a reason. The sequel is something I have yet to play, but I like the first game so much that it is something that's on my list. It's Neo: The World Ends With You. And I don't know what that means, but I love that they continue the art style. They have a whole new cast of characters, and I'm kind of wondering what it's about, to be honest with you. I guess it's kind of those things that I'll play and find out when the time is right, but it seems interesting. I'm very excited to go into it when the time is right. Live Alive, or Live Alive, I actually don't know how to pronounce this, but I was interested in it because my favorite composer, Yoko Shimomura, composed a soundtrack for it, and I like the idea of having, instead of like one giant RPG, it's like a few mini RPGs. Like, it has actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stories into this, and each story is about, you know, 2 to 4 to 5 hours, right? I think that's a really cool idea, and I like that it has like a common theme. I don't know if they connect the stories later together. I will find out eventually, but I just like the idea of this, and I actually am quite excited to play this one day. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but I am. It's on my list because I do plan to play it eventually, right? It's a game I have because I plan to play it eventually, and I love the art style for it too. It's just going to be a fun time. I'm pretty sure. I have confidence that this will be a fun game. Octopath Traveler. Now this was a really fun game. I love the music. The battle system is actually really fun. The art style is stunning. It created this whole new 2D, 3D thing that, you know, RPGs started doing now, and even new remakes are starting to do as well. And I really love it. It was really inventive in that way. I will say that the stories are not always hitting, and I actually haven't finished this game because of that. I just was not interested in the story that much, but I love the way this game looks, and the soundtrack is probably like one of the top, like it's just every song in that soundtrack is amazing, and so wonderfully composed, and the melodies are so thought out, and I just really love this game for that. So there's elements of this game that I absolutely adore and love, but I just haven't had the courage to finish the story, which is unfortunately a big important thing for RPGs. But it's something I will finish eventually. It's just not something that I was motivated to finish now. So Triangle Strategy is actually another game I was actually quite excited about for. I really like Fire Emblem games, and I like strategy combat, and this is one of those games that was made by the same team that made Octopath Traveler, and I just like that, you know, the story can take so many different ways and conform, and you know, how based on the decisions that you make, and I think that's a really cool way. Not a lot of JRPGs actually take the time to make the story like your own. Like you are not the focus. You know, the focus is the narrative, and this is one of those where like there's a narrative to be told, but you get to make big choices in that narrative that, you know, that are not common, and I really love that. So yeah, Triangle Strategy is a game that I want to play eventually. I was very interested in the concept of it. I love the art style. It looks very dark as well, so I'm excited to go through it when I get a chance. I just haven't had the chance lately. I mean, I can only play so many games. Trinity Trigger is a game that I actually was not following until before its release, and I actually saw this special edition, collector's edition thing for like it's $80 it's instead of 60, and it came with so much good stuff. A lot of this is actually very inspired by Chrono Trigger, and Chrono Trigger is my favorite game of all time, so just hearing that inspired me to get it. And if I don't like it, I still like the concept of it, and I still want to support modern day RPGs to show that, you know, people are still interested in these sorts of games. Not everyone is gonna hit, but I actually feel like this one has a lot of love put into it. I think, from what I understand, it's actually based off a Kickstarter from team members from other really good games that you might like. But yeah, I would do some research into it, but I'm excited to play this eventually. And finally, the big boy, my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Special Edition that I got recently. I got it at a game shop recently, and it was so hard to find one of these for a decent price, and I finally got one. And I'm so happy with the stuff and the contents inside of it. The cloth map, the coin, the hard case that I actually use for my Switch quite often. All tucked into this box, and I'm so grateful to have this. Like, the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Special Edition was so underwhelming to me, especially compared to this. Like, look at the size of this. This is insane. So I was actually very happy with this. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite Zelda games. It's not my favorite. I do like Tears of the Kingdom quite a bit more, but it's one of my favorites. But I will say this, nothing has given me that sense of wonder like Breath of the Wild has. Even Tears of the Kingdom, for all its benefits and all the things I love about it, there was just something about the time when this game came out that there's just a certain level of immersion and exploration that I don't think I'll ever experience, and possibly will ever experience again. So I really love this collector's edition, and I love all the contents inside of it. Okay, so that was all my physical games. Next, and finally, we can actually talk about the digital games in this collection. So let's go ahead and get into it. First off on the list, we have Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Kakarot is a very interesting game. I really love it all the way up into the Cell Saga, and then I feel like the Buu Saga is quite repetitive. But the DLC has been actually really fun and actually quite challenging, so I will give it that. It's just, I think the problem I have with it is that even though I'm seeing the same story I've seen in Dragon Ball so many times, but and I think in some ways it's told worse, and some scenes are just straight up cut out, and it's just, that's the disappointing part of it. And the combat gets very boring, and it's actually not that fun after the Cell Saga. I don't think so. I don't think things level up the way they should at some point. But if you want to go through the series in this way, then I actually think that you would actually really like it. I think it's a good game. I actually spent about 80 hours on this game, surprisingly. I think just traveling the world is actually really fun in itself. And I think the fact that I spent 80 hours says that I come back to it for a reason. But I'm not going to sit here and also tell you that it's the best Dragon Ball Z game ever made. That still goes to Budokai Tenkaichi 3 for me personally. But it's actually one of the best story ones. It's just, there's some things that I feel like they dropped the ball on during the Buu Saga. And then they pick back up with the DLC. So overall good. I really like this game, obviously, but it's just not one of my favorites or anything. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. I played all these games a lot as a kid, actually, so it's just Tony Hawk skating around. There's honestly not too much to talk about there, but if you like skating games, then it's fun. And if you want to see the foundation for them, that was the one. Sonic Frontiers. I made a whole video about that game. I actually made a whole video about Sonic Frontiers, and I will say that it's become one of my favorite Sonic games. It is not my favorite, but it's one of my favorite, and probably one of the most challenging ones. There's some faults to it, right? There's some faults, and there's some things that I like and don't like, and things of that nature, and they recently fixed a few things in the recent update that I had problems with. But I don't know, if you haven't played it yet, now's the best time to play it. All the updates are free and available for you, and they fixed a lot of the freaking bugs, so that's great. But yeah, I don't know. I love Sonic Frontiers. I have a whole video about it though, so I won't dwell on it too long here. BioShock Infinite. I played this game before. I have not beat it, but I thought it was worth having on the Switch, especially because it goes on sale pretty frequently for $9 or so. I don't really have much to say about it because I feel like everything that's been said about this game has been said. So it's just one of those games that I love playing, and I want to finish it one day, but it's just, again, I'm an adult. I don't have the time for a lot of this, but when I do, it's there for me. The Witch's House MV, my favorite horror game of all time. And I say that because I don't really love horror games, but I love this one because it has like a lot of RPG elements, and it actually has a really, really good story, especially if you get the secret ending. I made a whole video about this game, so please feel free to watch that. Next up is Animal Crossing New Horizons. I was so excited for this game. I spent about 90 hours on it just because it came out during the time COVID has happened and a lot of people were playing it. But to be perfectly honest with you guys, it's the most disappointing Animal Crossing game in the franchise for me, because a lot of the things that we had in other Animal Crossings games were not there initially, and there was not enough extra stuff or new stuff that made this one worth it for me. And it was okay. I'm not saying it's bad. It's actually a really fun game. I understand why a lot of people love it. It's just, for me personally, it was kind of a big step down from Animal Crossing New Leaf, where I felt like I had more control, not over just the land in the game, not like building the land, but just, the town itself. But I actually felt like there's more objectives in that game than this one. This one just feels like you want to have a cool island, so that way you can have your friends come over and look at it and go like, wow, you set this up so well. So if you like designing homes and stuff, then sure, but got Tetris 99. I don't know what to say about that. I'm just gonna move on. Skyrim for Nintendo Switch. I actually finished Oblivion last year, so Skyrim is a game that is on my list. I've never played it. I know that sounds fucking crazy because I feel like everyone and their mom has played Skyrim. Skyrim is notorious for being on a billion platforms, but having it on the Switch is really nice. Actually, when the Switch came out, it was kind of advertised with Skyrim at one point, which is really funny that it came out a little bit after launch. But yeah, Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch. What else can I say? I'm excited to play it. It'll be cool. I heard it's one of the best games of all time or something like that. Mega Man X Legacy Collection. I love the Mega Man X games. I played all of them, and just having a Legacy Collection of the best ones in like fantastic. I don't know what else to say. If you haven't played Mega Man X, it's basically like Mega Man but in the future, but also like not in the. It's just cool. It's just like a cool game. Final Fantasy VII. Made a whole video about like what I think about Final Fantasy VII. I don't feel like I need to dwell on it here, especially because it's such a notorious game. But yeah, I don't know. What else can I say about Final Fantasy VII? It's amazing. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I tried playing this game, but apparently it needs an internet connection, so I don't know how far I'm going to get into it. It's kind of weird. Like, it's one of those games I got because it was like $2 on the eShop. I'm not going to lie to you, at some point. And I'm kind of like, why did I spend $2 on this game that I'm never going to play? Okami is actually one of the first games I beat on the Switch. Okami HD. It's one of the best games I've ever played, actually. The art style is still holds up really well. There's 3 arcs to it. If you like Zelda games, honestly, then play Okami. Okami is a great way to experience a Zelda game in a new way. It takes place in Japan. The music is phenomenal. The story is really good too, and the humor is really, really, really good. So if you want a game that goes over like cultural things in Japan, this is the one to get. Transistor, I talked about it earlier. I initially played it on my phone, of all things. But now having it on the Nintendo Switch with actual like physical controls actually makes it really, really enticing. And I love this game. I've beaten it like twice. So it's a really great game. And you know, it's really short too, so it's like honestly not a big time investment. It's about like a woman who lost her voice and she has to like fight to get it back. It's really cool. Final Fantasy IX is my second or third favorite game of all time. I don't know what else to say about this game. I think you guys need to watch my Final Fantasy ranking video if you haven't seen my thoughts on this game. But dude, Final Fantasy IX is my second favorite game of all time. I love this game. It's my favorite Final Fantasy. It defines a lot about who I am, and I love it. I love Final Fantasy IX. I don't know what else to say. I just say give it a play. I don't want to spoil too much for you. If you like Ghibli, if you like RPGs, and you like you know, like fun and dark stories at the same time, like Dragon Ball, like I don't know, then you'll like this game. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, a really weird game made by Australian developers that I really, really like. Actually, I beaten this game a lot as a kid, and it's not the best, you know, platformer ever, but it's fun, and I feel like it's really cheeky, and I don't know, it's cute. It's a cute little game. It's a little cheesy, not gonna lie, but it's cute. I give it a thumbs up to give it a shot. It's a cute little platformer. Final Fantasy VIII Remaster is an interesting one because no one expected Final Fantasy VIII to ever be remastered again. We thought like all the I don't want to say footage, but all the files for this game were lost to time. But you know, it eventually became a game that was remastered, and it looks so much better. And if you've never played it, it's a great way to play it and experience it. I actually really enjoy Final Fantasy VIII. It's not my favorite in the franchise or anything like that. Some people absolutely hate this game, but I really love it, and I think it has one of the best stories in the franchise, even though it has one of the worst battle systems. And it's not horrible. Like, the battle system isn't horrible. It's just not one of the best. But the story, the exploration, the characters are so fun, and there's so much to love about this game, and I think if you played it, you'll love it too. Final Fantasy X and X-2, worth it for Final Fantasy X. X-2 is kind of a skip for me, but if you want to give it a shot, go for it. A lot has been said about this game. Honestly, it's a work of art. It's probably like my third favorite or fourth favorite Final Fantasy. I just love it that much. New Pokemon Snap. Honestly, you just take pictures of Pokemon. I got it on sale, so that was the reason why I personally got it, but it's good. I like it. I mean, you know, I beat it already and it's cute, but you just take photos of Pokemon. There's nothing serious about it, honestly, but yeah. Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamer Collection. This is a game, obviously, Chrono Trigger being my favorite game. This is a sequel to that, but it's also not a sequel to that, supposedly. So, you know, I don't know how to feel about it. But I know that I want to play it and see for myself one day, even if that time is not anytime soon. I wish I got a physical version of this game, but they didn't really have a lot of physical versions available when it was released. So, unfortunately, it's one of those games that I will have to have digitally and just, you know, experience that way. Dragon's Dogma is a game that I was actually recommended, and I saw it on eShop for like $10 for one day, and I thought it was, you know, I'll give it a shot. I know there's a new Dragon Dogma coming out, so I feel like maybe that's why this game was released on the Nintendo Switch, but I've heard a lot of great things about this game, not just based on like the story, but honestly the battle system. I hear so many good things about it and how it looks and everything, and I want to give it a shot. Dragon Ball FighterZ. FighterZ is a fighting game with Dragon Ball characters. There's a story mode into it. It's not that important, but it is fun, and I think it's one of the best fighting games for ever. Like ever. Like, even if you don't like Dragon Ball Z, you can have fun with the fighting in this game. It's just very, very, very well designed. Very hard. People are really good at this game, so sometimes it's a little scary to play, but like it's really good. And honestly, the DLC characters just keep getting better. And the last game on this list is a weird one to end on. It's Among Us. I don't know what to say about it. I think the memes have said enough. But yeah, it's Among Us. So after an hour and a half of recording this video, I am, finally done going over my Switch collection. As you can see, so much more to go over this time. And this is going to be a hell of a video to edit, but I'm going to give it a shot anyways, right? I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, for even hearing me talk about like this huge collection of games that I have for this, amazing console. I feel like the console is at the end of its life. What's holding the Switch back now is basically just the power of the system. It's clearly needs more power, and Nintendo's really holding off on that. But there's so many great games on it that run so well that I have a lot to play through before I even consider getting another, Nintendo console. And I'm very grateful to have something like this in my life, and just grateful that, we live in a world where like we can play these games and at our leisure and have things like this to take around with us on the go and just have a good time. I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for you guys watching and taking the time just to listen to my opinions on this sort of stuff. It really does mean a lot. Until then, I hope to see you guys soon, and I hope that next time I see you will be for a much more thought out discussion or something. This was just a fun video I wanted to make, and a great one to like start the new year on. Until then, I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care. Bye bye.